Yeah, okay. Let me copy it. Hello, guys. Welcome to the Emerald Empire Tournament. We're on to the grand finals here, and this is going to be a best of five series. I'm your caster, Linwell, and joining me today is none other than Drew Payne. Take it away, my dude.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the finals. I hope you're all excited, just like we are. We can see a lot of hype coming in towards these finals today. Now, as you can see, guys, we have Grapefruit on the blue side, Dioram Reditus on the red side. Both very high ranked players, both high elo players, tryhard players, right, Lino? So yeah, let's jump right into the draft phase and see what these picks are gonna have to show us. Now, Lino, talking about the draft phase, do you expect any specific picks or perhaps any specific bans?
Well, Payne, in this tourney, a lot of teams have really opted for the export or going for a funnel strat with either the Angela or Florian. And I think we might see bans respective to that, or either that or maybe a heavy crowd control unit, maybe like the Kufra or the Minotaur. But Kufra has been picked a lot by a lot of teams, and it's been setting the pace for the engages that happen in the early to mid phase, even the late game, but not that effective, and it requires a bit more macro, to get that initiate. Though we're having a bit of technical difficulties though, so it'll be taking a bit of time before we continue onto the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
this is totally no, that's actually a good chance to perhaps analyze the games and the possibilities that we might face forward into the game. Now, from the side of Grapefruit, right? They used to be Method Black, a very known team, a very try-hard team. You know, every single player in this team, even though the roster changed, is still very good. So I'm expecting some very well-rounded draft as well as well-rounded in-game decisions. Now, the game starting, we're jumping right into the ban phase, drafting phase. So I'm expecting to see perhaps a Kadita ban here. Um, we'll see, Lino.
Yeah, Wei is having the first ban from side of Grapefruit, and as you did point out, Kadita is a really good ban to go out, as she does have that Ocean's Breath and Rough Waves to do a lot of damage, and it's particularly to almost any target. But the Faramis gets banned instead from side of Grapefruit, and DMR counters it with an Angela. Um, Pain, how
I
do you
mean,
feel about these bans? Like,
well, Faramis is actually a team fight monster, right? When it comes to those team fights, that cold total is a pain to deal with now. As long as the Angela and the Florin ban goes, I mean, that's kind of explainable. I mean, I don't think I have to say much upon this. Like Angela and Florin right now, two very good supports, very meta picks rising, and always more and more in the pick rates and as well as in as the win rates. I mean, Angela without ult as well as Florin with her ult. I mean, it's a support meta at the end of the day, so very reasonable bans. Now we can see the Joy coming in. I mean, that's another meta ban, and as we know, Team Grapefruit they have a very good Joy player, so kind of justifiable.
yeah, and Grapefruit counters it with this with a Fredrin ban. You know, Fredrin being a frontliner just provides so much to your team. The taunt, the knockups, and even the sustain. And with that appraisal's rat, just being able to dish out so much damage. And most teams which you have seen use the Fredrin or any other lineup either go for either all out go in or just don't commit at all. So this Fredrin is going to be really good in answering all those calls. So but we have a Novaria band coming from South DMR. Pain.
I mean, Lino, I'm kind of surprised here because just like I said, I was expecting a Kadita ban from the side of DMR, but we can see that the Grapefruit is gonna lock towards that Kadita. They're gonna instant lock that Kadita. I mean, I knew what I was talking about. They have very nasty compositions with that Kadita, as well as AI on that Kadita is a monster. So uh, that was kind of unacceptable from DMR, but. I guess they know what they're doing. They expected this pick, so they're gonna answer back with the Xborg and the carry. Now, I mean, Xborg a very good EXP laner, as he had been played in previous matches as well, and he proved to be a very good force to deal against, right?
Yeah, and I don't think most teams know how to answer that. We did see the Terizla going against the Export and Almond, and Arlet too, and even the Yizong, and denied most of the lanes, won the lanes, but when it came to the team fights, the Export just popped off and became a great frontliner or initiator for his team. Even follow ups were really great.
Definitely,
Yeah, and Seer
definitely.
here on the carry, you've seen Seer pick a lot of good marksmen. Even went for Iridial on certain matches and plays really well with the kiting and might just have a tough time in this scenario because look at the other Grapefruit's comp. They have the Kadita, a Paquito, and a Kaja to boot. So it's just there's just so much consistent poke and the suppress coming from Kaja. Divine Judgment is gonna be really crucial for any team fights for side of Grapefruit.
Just like you said, Lionel, now we can see that the differences in the compositions. Like Grapefruit is going for a pick of composition. You know that Divine Judgment coming in from the Kaja as well as the Rough Waves from the Kadita. This is a pick of composition, and actually the Kadita alongside paired with the Kaja is actually a very known combo. So we can see that Grapefruit is going for the pick of composition, whilst in the other hand, DMR is going for more of a team fight composition with Arakai and the Xbro coming in. So on paper, the team fight composition beats the pick of composition, but Hey man, grapefruit is grapefruit. I don't count them out, so I guess it will all be determined by the in-game decisions because we have seen a lot of times a team having a better draft and still losing, right, Lino?
Indeed. And this is a best of five also. So what happens in the first game will be taken over to the second game. And we might see both teams adapt to each other's meta and see those bans. But speaking of, there's other bans here. Two assassin ban coming from DMR, while the mages arguing ban from side of Gravefoot. And this is understandably so considering the picks which both teams have taken far. And Ginger Cat lovers on that Kufra. I'm excited to see what they're cooking. And we've seen so many great engages and setups from the Kufra side of Ginger Cat, and it's going to be a pleasure to see how they counter this pickoff composition from Grapefruit.
I mean, there you go. Another pick-off hero, which is gonna be the Hellcurt. I mean, Grapefruit straight up throwing all the pick-off heroes there. I'm actually interested to see what Way is gonna pick as a marksman here. I mean, if they'll pick a marksman, they could go for a Harith and risk not having an ADC. But no, they will lock down the Leslie. And if you ask me, I mean, all of DMR's composition, I mean, Akai, Exborg, as well as the Kufra, once Leslie gets 3, 4 items, I don't think they'll be able to deal with her. I mean, I don't even think they will want to deal with her, right? The true damage coming in from Leslie is just disgusting, and we can see the Kagura as the last pick from the side of DMR. Now, yeah, so basically we have a full pick of composition against a team fight composition. Now, jumping right into the land of Donalino, how do you think this game is gonna progress?
Well, it's gonna be very crucial from side of Grapefruit if they land those pickoffs according to their composition. Yeah, as pointed out very directly, they do have the setup, they do have the capabilities, but from the side of DMR, they're gonna be locking in and targeting that Leslie a lot. So if successfully done so, could maybe slow down the pace for Grapefruit. That's allowing them to win from the mid game phase. As you, when you look at their comp, they are a bit weaker on the early game side. As we mentioned, we go into the Land of Dawn, both teams marching in, and we might have a bit of leashing done from both sides to boost jungling, but it's not so.
Yeah, we can see that the Leslie is gonna help the Hellcat just a little bit. Now, the Akai having the Quantum Blast from the emblem, the Concussive Blast, excuse me, I don't think he's gonna need any help at all after all, because I bet he has a Seasoned Hunter as well. So, yeah, the Akai not really getting any help because he doesn't really need to. The Hellcat getting a little bit help from the Leslie, a couple of sats. Now, we can see the roamers already going towards the EXP lane. I mean, Nuo not really going there. He didn't manage to get to level 2. That wasn't even his plan. But Ginger, we can see that he went in the EXP alongside Exberg to get at level 2 and have that early advantage. Now, Tyrant's Revenge jumping in towards Nuo, but that was just a poking mechanism, not really an engage. So we can see Jing going for that lethal. And now totally different priorities coming in from Rui and Jing. Rui continuing normally with his wave, with his jungle clear, whilst in the other hand, Jing going for the lethal, not going towards the bot side. Now we can see Team DMR focusing towards the gold lane. I mean, Rui is gonna finish his rotation in the gold lane, while Jing in the EXP lane, Lino.
Yeah, and inside of Grapefruit, they're applying more pressure towards the XP lane. I guess it's prioritizing maybe the turtle that's coming up, but there's a bit of pause here, and we will see Kadita getting knocked up and caught up by two of side of DMR. Might be able to escape this and would be able to go for, without getting a scratch. Hence, Kagura is still level 2, and forcing out the heavy spin this early on might just not be enough for both teams. But yeah, as predicted a bit earlier, Pain, they is looking from side DMR, they're gonna target that Leslie a bit more. They don't want her to get that farm or too much funneling to be done, so they could have an easier swift game on the mid game phase.
Exactly, totally agree with you, Lionel. I mean, I think the strong card here coming in from Greyfruit is if they manage to get the early snowball with the composition they have. I think if the game manages to prolong until the late game, like if we see this 15th minute mark, I think this is then the game is going to be in favor of DMR because they have the team fight composition. I mean, Honestly, I don't see Grapefruit winning when those 5 versus 5 starts happening.
Oh well, that could be possible, but you can't forget about the Kadita and the Hellcurt. If they time their skills perfectly, Kadita getting maybe one or even two pickoffs, and that would just be huge. Because if you take down either Seer or even Rui a bit more difficult side though. Maybe the Granger, Ginger Castlever. If you get one or two of those possible outcomes, it would be a swifter team fights because you have less targets to focus on, and being the pick of composition you are, the less enemies the better for you, so it's just you're just gonna win those fights. And but we're having a bit
Yeah.
of delay though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we will have the pause. I mean, that gives us just a little bit of extra time to talk about the draft. Now, just like you said, Lino, if they play it right, they definitely have the chance.
Mhm.
But let's also not forget that Kadita sometimes can confuse you. Many players miscalculate her combo. I mean, uh, AI kind of hard to miss because he's AI, but most cases, Kadita's combo sometimes can mess up. I mean, there are a lot of Natalias going around the map, right? So I guess if they don't have any crucial mistakes, any crucial, micro mistakes, as in missing skills and combos and stuff, I think it will all depend on how the game progresses. Now, when it comes to the jungle, right? We have the Hellcurt against an Akai. I mean, the Hellcurt is an assassin that can deal a lot of damage to tanks, getting paired with the DHS as well as the Malefic Roar and the BOD. He's gonna be able to dish out a good amount of damage on both Exborg and Kufra.
Yeah, okay, with Hellcurt going with the ultimate, and we'll be able to deal about damage, but we'll be forced to back. But guys, I think Diamar's Marksman is having 300 MS, and he's lagging a lot, so this might be a restart for this round, and we might see a redraft of the same composition. Although there's what management told me, not certain though. Fight is still going on, as Jing here is getting poked down by Rui and Sinrat, and Jeng focusing on the turtle instead. Not really winning those lanes. The rest of Team Grapefoot needs those level fours to have the capability for that pickoff. But Jing will be seen spotted out with Kufra here charging with Tyrant's Revenge. Doesn't go for it, however. And the turtle will be reset. The rest of Team Grapefoot trying to catch up and give a bit of support to the rest of the team, but not really doing much. And will be zoned out by this export, by this Akai, and it's just going to be so hard to go through this lineup.
Yeah, definitely. We can see the Tyrant's Revenge coming in, as well as the Dark Knight Falls from the Hellcurt. Now, who's gonna take the turtle? It's gonna be Ginger, actually, not of the junglers. Now, Jing brought pretty low right here. AI still has the Wrap Waves. She's not gonna initiate, and she will back off.
Yeah, okay, wonderful. Petrify coming in, Key here with a really good 1-2 combo. Doesn't deal enough damage though. Might be able to take down the Kufra, and he does just follow up onto the export. Sinrad being forced to use the Vengeance, and the Frag armor is enough for Key to back off. And that will be a 2-for-0 trade for the side of Grapefoot, getting 2 kills. But they did lose the turtle in the process, so this is sort of a balancer.
Yeah, we can see that was kind of a pretty up and down for both sides. I mean, Ginger DMR got the turtle, but in exchange they lost 2 members. So I don't know how much it was worth it. Now we can see Q playing quite aggressively and being one level ahead of the X-Pro, cutting the lanes and rotating faster. That's the power that Paquito can bring up to the table, right? Now we can see Nuo waiting on that bush, providing the vision and waiting to pop that flicker divine judgment to punish Sheer, but Sheer knows that he's not going to overextend. Now we can see both sides just standing in the bush. They both know where each other are, right? Now they don't want to commit. They're just standing there to provide vision so the marksman can feel safe and farm up.
Yeah, and Paquito will be caught up a bit though. A lot of pressure is being applied in mid lane phase. Kaja with a divine judgment onto the Kufra. The Nice Calling being used, and he will be taken down by Wei, and that is a kill for the goal laner. The rest of the team, DMR though, not really going aggressively from this. abilities being used though, but not really finding the opportunity. Rui here trying to set up maybe a bit, and but doesn't go for the heavy spin. Paquito in a really good spot here. Export rotating mid and might just go in for this, but they are positioned really well for Turtle here. Akai poking DNG Jing a bit, but forcing him to back. Paquito will be doing a bit of damage, but that won't be enough for posing a threat, and he will be forced to back, and that is being poked by Sinrat.
I mean, we can see Q getting a lot of damage here, a lot of poke from Sinrad, but also getting a lot of shields. I mean, Paquito has been buffed, let's not forget. Now the turtle coming lower and lower in HP. We can see a kill off camera in the bot lane. Now heavy spin coming in. Faishu is gonna take the turtle once again. Rui might fall here, not barely escaping. We can see Q, Divine Judgment coming in towards Fasu. He's not going to be able to escape as they chase down Exborg, and they'll manage to get the kill onto Shinrad. Now everybody going back into his lane. The turret in the bot side already fallen. It's minute 5. I mean, Wei is going to have the disadvantage now towards the rotations. I mean, we might see a lane swap here, but I don't think it's going to be necessary since the turret in the top lane is going to fall as well. And now we can see both teams rotating towards the bot lane again, Lino.
Yeah, I feel like this is a repeat of what previously happened, but in case of DMR, it became even worse because, the jungler couldn't secure the objective, so there's a bit lost in the goal, and you add insult to injury, and the rest, more members of Team DMR went down to the engage, and it's not looking good as the enemy team is a really heavy. Early game focused comp, and Kufra will be dealt a lot of damage by the rough waves and will be finished off by Jing. Heavy spin coming though, trying to push it in, but will be immune. Divine Judgment coming on the carry. That is a kill, another kill. King kind of going for, but will get the Leslie ultimate sniper being stopped by the Faso on the Kagura.
I mean, Leono, I'm just amazed. I'm speechless. We can see the pure chemistry coming in from the side of Grape. I mean, not to count out DMR, but you see how they move, how they complete each other. Like, Nu is supposedly retreating and he flickers back in, popping the Divine Judgment. I mean, pure chemistry, pure teamwork. I mean, this shows us, this can show that what kind of level this team is on, right?
Yep, indeed. But DMR trying to answer this, lands the Tyrant's Revenge onto Sinra, and will be able to take him down. Iger's down for this, and the rest of team DMR will be falling back from that kill. Okay, I guess they got what they came for, but the turtle is up, and Akai is at half HP. We're just gonna have a bit of difficulty securing this, especially since it is guarded by Nu here with the Divine Judgment, able to shut down a sort of push through, and Hellcurt will be able to get that. And a bit of aggression here by Paquito on top lane. Will be rotating back to mid. And the rest of Grapefruit has just been playing on point, knowing precisely exactly when to do damage, when to back off. And Q will be trying to pull onto face zero, but forced back.
Definitely. I mean, we can see when it comes to turrets, Grapefruit has the advantage here, 2-1 turrets, but he's got Divine Judgment coming in toward Ginger. He's gonna get punished. I mean, he threw himself inside them with the Tyrant's Revenge, but he wasn't able to catch someone. He got punished instead, and we can see Grapefruit trying to force the middle turret, but they're not gonna be able to, as DMR have a lot of teamfight potential now. Heavy spin coming in, punishing Nu. Nu is gonna get stunned, and he will fall in the hands of Shiro, getting punished there. A kill going on over to the carry, which is gonna be beneficial for her status, for her gold. Allowing her to scale, but the Rav Waves along with the Petrify are gonna come in and punish the Akai.
Yeah, Ginger though, landing Tyrant's Revenge and Tyrant's Rage, forcing I to go in, but instead will be taking down Seer on the carry for a trade. Okay, that was a bit unconventional because you set up for your team and instead gave a free kill to the enemy team, and that's not really what you want to see in as a roamer. It's a bit unfortunate for Ginger Cat lovers, and for the rest of side of Grapefruit. They're just progressing really well and getting those goals, getting that lead. Leslie here with the highest farm, and it's just gonna be a huge threat to the side of DMR in the upcoming fights.
I totally agree with you, Lionel. I mean, Leslie is already a pain to deal with. When you have a fed Leslie, man, I don't know how you can handle it. I mean, it's a matter of time until Wei starts one-shotting you, and heck, there's nothing you can do about it. So I want to see how DMR is going to respond. I mean, from their side, they have tons of CC. Now we can see Q poking a little bit. Akai trying to cut him off guard, but he won't be able to as Q backs off immediately. Now we can see Jinx starting the Lord. Tyrant Revenge is not going to connect. He will get cancelled by Wei. Now we can see this is probably going to go in the hands of Grapefruit. Yep, it is. Jing is going to finish the Lord. And we can see now Tyrant's Revenge as well as the Tyrant Rage, the ult coming in from the health guard as well as the heavy spin. Q is going to get punished as well as Jing is going to fall in the hands of Shinrad. Now very good initiation coming in from DMR, Lino.
Yeah, especially really good. Okay, Tarnish Revenge again landing on Nuo. Won't be able to take down. Flame shall come in, but survives at 1 HP. But the Rough Waves cleans up Kagura. Face so taking that loss on that will be a trade off of 2-for-1. Lord is there for the side of Grapefruit though. And that was a really good engage from DMR, getting those crucial kills, especially onto his jungler and Aki, who has been a huge threat this entire game. It's just being able to come into your enemy, come into your composition, and do a lot of damage, to waste a bit of the skills, and maybe sidestep a couple of skill shots.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you count the lore, I think this trade was kind of equal. If you don't count the lore and you count the fight as a fight itself, that was a good trade for the side of DMR. I mean, very good initiation. This is the first time in this match we see DMR actually answering back when it comes to teamfight now. Grapefruit looking to push the middle turret as they're going to go for the bot lane here. Lord marching towards the bot lane. I think Grapefruit is going to have a hard time and pushing and forcing themselves into the turrets. So let's not forget that DMR have the spinning wheel on their side from the Akai, as well as the Tyrant Revenge and the Tyrant Rage from the Kufra. They have some hard CC, so I don't know how Grapefruit is going to be able to force themselves taking down the turrets when they don't have the resources.
Yeah, and we've seen this a lot before, Pain. A lot of compositions having it better off as a defensive comp. So as the more the game progresses, Grapefruit is just going to have a difficult time. As a aggressive team of DMR is just going to be in the turrets and diving an Akai, diving a Kufra, diving Export, even Kagura is really hard, especially since you have only one Divine Judgment. You can only mark certain targets, and the rest of the side of Grapefruit might get shut down from the crowd control that's following up from DMR.
Ooh, but if we could take a look at the top side of the map now, we can see AI and Nuo waiting there. They're looking for blood. They're looking for a kill. No, they're camping the bush, but I don't think Sheer is too innocent. I think DMR know their Grapefruit's plans. I mean, both hiring teams. I don't think he's gonna fall for it. I mean, if Sinrad goes there, he can be bursted, but heck, you never know. I mean, we can see Wei pushing the lane, so eventually someone will come to defend. Yeah, there we see it. So
Sure,
perhaps
sure.
your future.
Sure, gets taken down by the Rough
No!
Waves. That was very unfortunate. You didn't really
no!
expected. I thought they were gonna up more off for the for Lord, but here Divine Judgment coming in for Kufra. Damage not really there though, a bit of waste, and we'll be forcing DMR to back off a bit. And we're taking a lot of damage, getting chunked down. Tyrant's Revenge coming here, getting charged, lands on Leslie. Huge Tyrant's Rage, knocking in two people. Alcar here coming with the ultimate. We'll be able to silence a lot of people, but not enough damage. We'll be forced to buy Export coming to Lance Sanity. Finishes off Leslie. Sunrat, the last frontliner, is still standing, but the Kagura takes off the Kaja instead. And Jing will be able to scare the Lord for his team. The rest of Team Grapefruit, though, will be forced to back as they lost a lot of members for the cause of Lord. Pain.
Yeah, that was. I don't think this trade was worth it because this is actually this is an enhanced lord, so it might be worth it. But I don't know, 3 members, the lord is gonna go wasted. I mean, they can just clear it. They keep on with their life. Ooh, but a flame shot coming in from Faishu in order to try to steal the red buff. He's not gonna achieve it, but that was a very good try. Now, what I wanted to mention, Lino, is we can see the tactics and the chemistry coming in from Greyfoot. I mean, we saw earlier Nuo and AI positioning in that bush because Wei was about to clear the wave, so they knew someone will go there to defend, and they were ready. I mean, we can see high IQ plays here.
Yeah, and okay, that was a really well played from Grapefruit. Sticking to their strengths and sticking to their objectives. But from the reward from that trade was the Lord, but the Lord goes down as Sinrad shreds it. And this is not really what you want to see, but I guess it couldn't be helped since only two members of Grapefruit was present, and the rest respawned. But by the time it was too late, so this will be a loss for the Lord. But the top tower will be taken down, and that is something at least I guess from that engage.
I mean, definitely is better than nothing, right? And we can see also DMR starting to realize Grapefruit's patterns. I mean, if you notice right now, when Seer went to clear the top lane, Sinrad was the one to walk first into the bush, as well as the Akai checking the other bush that they set up the ambush earlier. So DMR starting to realize what Grapefruit is trying to do and checking the possibly dangerous areas.
Yeah, as a heavy spin coming out from the Kai, won't be able to get up Nuo though, and will be forcing a flicker, but that's a really huge spell being taken off from the hands of Grapefruit. Kido getting melted a bit, and will be doing that poke and backing off. So far, Grapefruit has just been knowing exactly what they want to do, not overcommitting, just getting those poke and backing off at the precise moments. But they lost map control because of this, and are stuck in the left side a bit. So, and as for the right side, we have Team DMR having that control is especially important since you have the Lord, but Xborg will be targeted. Vengeance being popped, last sadly being used to escape. Will be trying to back off and will succeed as the Divine Judgment Flicker isn't there for committing. And from side of Grapefoot, you don't really want to get an Xborg in a trade. Still has immortality, and the rest of the team could be anywhere nearby, but they are positioned in the mid lane. And Jindakat lovers here pushing up through will get detected by Sniper though and forced back a bit. Akai here landing the heavy spin onto Key, but won't be enough, and he will be able to escape from that outcome.
I mean, just like you said, Lionel, I'm also curious. I mean, Exburg is an Exburg, but on top of that, he has immortality, so I don't understand why they would waste so many resources. The Dark Knight falls from the Helker as well as the Divine Judgment to a hero you cannot even kill. I mean, this didn't make any sense, but the Rough Waves are gonna come in, catching Faiju off guard. He's gonna get punished. Now we can see Seer fighting with Q. Jing is gonna chase the carry, and he's gonna take the kill, securing the kill. Now Sinrad very low, but immortality is up. Jing is gonna secure the Lord, and Wei punishing the Akai, as now Sinrad is on their retreat, as well as Ginger, but he's gonna miss the flicker, and he will fall in the hands of Q. And oh, the
That's a
ultimate
full
coming in from Wesley!
Indeed,
Wow!
that was a full wipeout. Getting the Lord also. Grapefruit just popping off will be able to push this mid lane turret. And minions are still present, so they will be able to end the game. And game number one will be going to Grapefruit.
Wow!
What a
Wow,
game.
man. What a performance coming in from Grapefruit. I mean, okay, from now on, I'm not gonna make any assumptions. Lionel. I'm really bad at them, right? Like whenever I say someone has a better draft or anything, they're always losing. So, okay, I will not open my mouth and make assumptions again. Now we can see a very dominant performance coming in from the side of Grapefruit. Very well-rounded team. I mean, imagine having a draft that on paper is quote unquote worse and still performing this good. I mean, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just speechless right now, you know.
Well, Pate, I think that's called Caster's Curse. And by betting on DMR, it might have cursed them a bit, but we'll have to see for round two, though. As next game, DMR is going to know exactly what Grapefruit is going to cook. So they could ban all of those certain priority picks or the core heroes which DMR, which Grapefruit goes for. Joy ban is still there, though. It's understandably so, since you're a pick of comp, and if you have a joy alongside with you, it's just gonna make your life much more easier.
It definitely is gonna make your life a lot more easier. But we will see the flooring getting banned as well, and the Angel again. I mean, until now, saying bans. I'm wondering to see if DMR understood what the Grapefruit is trying to do. If they have an answer actually for that Kadita, and I want to see if Kadita will actually get banned here in the first phase of the banning phase, because he was actually the main factor, the key to victory for Grapefruit. I mean, see, he had the burst, he had the initiation, I think that Kadita was the key to victory. I want to see if DMR will actually focus banning that Kadita and actually drafting in a way that denies the pick of composition, Lionel.
Yeah, indeed, it might be possible, but they are still sticking to their crucial bands as the core bands get taken off here. Florian, Angela being taken off. We've seen this a lot here. Team Comp's not allowing that healing potential to be done. Estes is still there, but doesn't provide as much for as Angela and Florian. So, and but we have the Frisian band also here. Frisian, he's such a great frontliner, really good jungler. And instead of the Akai that match, if they had a Fredrin, the possibilities could be a bit easier as he does have the tankiness, he does have the damage also to boot, and just has more overall crowd control abilities. Because Akai has this heavy spin, but sometimes it's not always a win. Because the enemy team could be able to dash out, and it's a bit hard to pin them to the wall.
Just
But
like you said, I mean, I think this time around we're gonna see some different picks as well as bans. I mean, Lionel, we saw in the first game that even though, just like we said, I mean, Grapefruit is the kind of team that can play around everything. I mean, you can really restrict the hero pool. You can really do nothing about them. So this time around, DMR will have to be very careful and perhaps a little bit more disciplined, not getting off guard so much. And perhaps this will give them the victory.
yep, indeed. Here, Kadita ban also coming in from side DMR. They're remembering having deja vu flashbacks to that gameplay. But guys, okay, it seems like Pain will have to go because a bit of a problem, and I'll be solo casting the rest of the match from DMR versus Grapefruit, and we have Ginger Cat's Liver on the Novaria, which is a bit strange. You've seen them play the Kufra, I mean the Kufra or another roamer. So this change of pace might be a bit more comfortable. I'm guessing we haven't seen the complete hero pool, but from side of Grapefruit, they do counter this with the Yves and the Paquito. This has been a really Paquito has been very stable key here, really good with the Paquito, really good poke damage, very nice stability, and just able to distance himself whenever possible. Even when the enemy team had a lot of crowd control and suppress, was just able to outmaneuver them and just play perfectly. Could get answered though by a bit of a suppress there. Yves here is a pretty good pick, but will get counter picked by Sinrad on the Esmeralda. And Esmeralda, guys, is a really good XP laner in the sense that she could be able to sustain and lane against Paquito, has the tankiness, has the pokeness with the basic emblems, and being able to go for more items and rather than your standard mana or book. So we'll be able to answer I on the Yves as well, and Seer on that Iridil. We saw them play yesterday on the Iridil, popped off in 2 games, I believe, failed in one to do so because the enemy team had too much suppress or tankiness. But looking at the current lineup that Grapefruit has, I think he might just be able to perform perfectly well. But Wei does have the Beatrix counter to this. Beatrix is a really standard marksman, which has a little bit of everything: the shred, the damage, the utility for clearing waves or objectives, or even group AOE with the rockets. So it's pretty standard coming from Wei, and will be allowing Grapefruit to pick a bit more comfort to their comforts. But we have 2 more bans coming from both sides, Kufra and Xborg. Okay, these are really good heroes who could counter the lineup which Grapefruit has. So really smart coming from that. Really good CC provided by these 2 bans also. So yeah, in the sense that is sensible. So we have the Hayabusa pick though coming in from Hayabusa ban. I'm sorry, coming from DMR, which is it's a bit strange to see because if you get a higher booster to counter this, I'm guessing it could counter Seer and Cat lovers, but you probably usually want to go for a more stronger hyper who counters your lineup. And Hayabusa, I'm guessing they're going for this ban because maybe they're going for a bit more flexible comp. Grok is a pretty smart band though, and Grok, which we haven't seen much in the story, but when we do see teams pick up this hero, has been able to perform really well with the damage and the ultimate, being able to just do so much with the stuns, and he just opens up a lot of options, even able to immune a lot of CCs. But no, we'll be locking in that Franco, and boy, oh boy, I'm really excited for this. The Iron Hooks and the Bloody Hunt will be very crucial to shutting down Sinrad, possibly Seer, and even Lancelot Rui. But Rui has been playing a lot in this tourney with the Lancelot, and just the Thorn Roses have been able to perfectly immune almost every Franco we've seen. So it's gonna be a bit difficult on side of Grapefruit to land those Bloody Hunts. Maybe needs a bit of backup or to annoyance to the back line to maybe disrupt their stable mindset. Faso is hovering over those roamers though. Might go for the Minotaur, which is a really strong pick, but Ruby is getting locked in. Okay, Ruby, and she has so much decent crowd control and just able to juggle the enemies between her kit, and this just allows the side of DMR to play that aggression, which we've seen in never mind to play defensively, which we've seen in previous games. But they will have a bit of a leverage in the sense of aggression because the Novaria is there for the reveal, the Esmeralda is there for ganking the back lines, Seer is there, the Iridial is there for the damage, for the burst damage, Rui for finishing off any stray targets or maybe baiting a bit of skills, and Faso will be able to sustain a lot and crowd control the enemy teams. But from the side of Grapefruit, they do have that consistent damage. They do have really good positioning from Paquito, the Beatrix, and the Ling, who is able to be available in almost every part of the map because of his flexibility and positioning. So that's just going to be really good for Jing, being he's landed all those retributions so far. So Ling, it's just going to be allow him to play a bit more freely. As we move on to the Land of Dawn, guys, both teams here marching down their lanes, and don't forget, this has been best of five. First game won by Grapefruit. DMR though will be able to try and make a comeback with these picks. And Nu here's calling for a bit of an early invade. Hook will be blocked though by Gingercat Lovers, and aggression is being made here. Seer coming in for this assist. Will be able to go to his lane a bit late though, and will meet Wei in this interchange. Nuo still staying for his blue buff and lands the hook onto Rui, but to no progression, as this just being annoyance to a jungle and forcing the rest of DMR to sort of answer this. We have Faso here coming all the way from bot lane and trying to answer this aggression, and not really doing that much as Nuo goes back to full HP, and that hook will miss. But look at Paquito, he's so far in the enemy's lineup, just providing the early game wave clear and just allowing his team to be a bit more on the aggression side as he invades to red buff, really good poke damage. Rui forced the back here. Retribution still is there though, and Jing might just be able to take this, and first blood going to Grapefruit, getting that first kill. And this is just gonna allow them to snowball even farther because that's a jungler kill, which is very crucial for DMR as you have a jungler down who's not level 4 yet. So for this, and the entire jungle has already been taken by Grapefruit here. A lot of poke and aggression being made also, and they have just not been allowing DMR to have any space to breathe. Turtle is spawning though in a matter of a few seconds, and the rest of Team DMR knows this. Your jungler is down on EXP, rest of the team are down on positions, levels are down, and you need to apply a bit more pressure or farm more safely. So this turtle might be taken by Ling. Faso though not optimal positioning, the rest of the team is not really there, so it's a bit awkward to be in the aggressive place as the Iron Hook is coming and Bloody Hunt lands, securing another kill for will be poked a bit by Sinrad though, but the damage won't be enough and he will be forced back. Vengeance being popped
but he's just getting shredded slowly, and that's a double kill for I getting 3 kills while Jing just getting 2 assists. Okay, I just it's just gonna have a huge lead, and being a Yves, the faster you get those items, the more damage you're just gonna deal in those team fights. And for Grapefruit, especially since the rest of their teammates, besides I, is a pick-off hero, it's just gonna make an I being a team fight hero. It's gonna make them their jobs much more easier. As Jinx goes in for another invade, really going down to very low HP and gets taken down. The blades being popped up, and Sinrad here with the assist, but won't be able to progress though, as the red buff will be taken from side of Key. And Grapefruit, the aggression has just been so much. They've not been able to give Rui any space to breathe, taking down so many buffs, so many jungle camps, and you look at the difference. Like, it's level 4 and level 6. Jing even going to level 7. So DMR needs to pick up the pace if they want to possibly win this round. Maybe apply a bit more pressure to the enemies invade jungle, because so far as how they're playing, they won't be able to do anything. As in the bot lane, Sinrad goes down to Key, and that is a free turret, and the Bloody Hunt coming onto the area there would be able to get the kill, and the Iron Hook landing on Face as he tries to escape. A lot of damage being dealt there would not be enough, but Jing here is coming to the assist, goes for Jinnercat levers instead, and double kill from side of I. Not the fight, it's not over though, as Jing melts down the rest of the team of DMR, chasing down Rui. Will be able to go in. I flickers in. Rui being damaged and will be taken down by Jing, but he does not have energy. Seer is just melting him down, and that is a kill. The first kill going to DMR for this game. That also going on the hands of Seer, which he's a goal laner, so he's gonna really need that help, especially laning against Grapefruit. Yeah, but okay, both teams have been. There's been a lot of pressure from Grapefruit, and they're just not giving any space for DMR to breathe. Key getting another kill, just dominating that AXP lane, not allowing Sinrad to funnel or rotate or do anything. The pressure has just been so much. Look at Nuo, like they're all positioned so well for another red invade. Here we have Key pushing more pressure, putting up more pressure, and pushing in the bot lane. Will get punished a bit though. Sinrad melting him down, going down to half HP. Rui here with the gauge, but the damage is not there, as side of Sinrad's passive shield gets melted down instead, and that is not really what you want to see as an Esmeralda. And being low on farm, retribution coming from Jing will be able to take another red buff, and it's just been a clean sweep from their side. Rui will be able to escape though with a sliver of HP. And look at the positioning from Grapefruit. They've just not allow side of DMR to come out anywhere from their base or the jungle. Just invades happening one after the other. In XP lane, he's just been dominating. It gets another kill onto Sinrad. Sinrad not looking so good right now. The rest of DMR falling apart piece by piece. I here getting sniped down. We have the Bloody Hunt being used on Seer. A lot of damage, and that will be enough for a kill for Wei. Here, Grapefruit getting those turrets, getting those kills. They've just been dominating this match, and we have the real manipulation being popped by I here, but that will force a flicker in, and rest of team DMR will be forced to play a bit more passively, although that doesn't seem to be working, as Jing gets another kill onto Rui. It's just not his day. Side of Grapefruit, they've been just playing it perfectly, and the aggression, the pressure, everything, and when the invades that's been applied is so good, and they've just not been allowing any space to be bred upon for side of DMR. Look at Key's damage, man. It's just so much. Even the Seer couldn't handle it. It's forced to use the ultimate back off. But looking from DMR's perspective, what can you really do at this point? Your junglers are being invaded. Everything's going to shambles. You're not really having any space to breathe. As the Iron Hook lands onto Face, so that's a monster kill. XP laner is also going down, and we have the Rito being taken down here. Lancelot being taken down in the turret, but Sinrad will be able to make up for it and gets a trade off for that. It's a 3-for-1 trade. Grapefruit on the advantage, and they will be pushing down this middle lane turret. Wei with the melt here, and Null will be trying to land the zone a bit and forcing Jinnercat's lever to back off a bit. Really great snipe though, but not enough to take him down, and Wei just clearing off that minion wave. Grapefruit just applying so much pressure, trying to win over those lanes. Key will be caught off guard though, and that's a lot of damage coming taken in. Really good shield, and will be able to escape successfully. I don't know how he managed to escape that. There was four members of Ginger Cat of DMR, but what happened there? I managed to kill off Rui, but gets shut down with this wonderful snap coming from Ginger Cat lovers here. He, the only last one frontliner standing, will be able to take down also Sinrad. Getting those shutdowns, getting those kills might just be enough for maybe possibly making a comeback in the XP lane, as the rest of Team Greyfield are forced to back off a bit. Iron Hook being used but not landing, and Greyfield just still having control of the map. You can see they just gonna go for this snowball, this aggression, and they're not really giving up most of the map space. DMR not really contesting this also. No, trying to land a hook, but it will miss. And we have rockets being used also, although it's low cooldown, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Facer will be scouting this a bit and will be pushing a bit further though. And we look at the bottom lane. Rui's getting melted again. Jing with that damage will be enough, and that is a recall also. I guess it's a bit of BM, but he will be going back. And the rest of Grapefruit, you know, they're just on the roll. I think they might go for an enhanced lord, but there's still a lot of time left. So I guess really nothing much to do currently except wait for maybe a bit of hooks and maybe the objectives. So for DMR, you're really forced to play this back and defensively. And considering your current heroes from side DMR, it's not really the best optimum from disengage. You have the Ruby face, so sure. But what about the rest of the team? There's not really an AoE crowd control ability besides the Ruby. So looking from side of Grapefruit, you're just gonna have an easier time diving. And you add this with the Lord, it's just gonna be really hard for the side of DMR to defend this. And as we wait for that, let's look a bit on the itemization here. Seer getting that Has Claws. And Twilight Hunter, never mind, the Junior Cat's lover being cooked, but we will be able to flicker out, and I will be able to finish him off. Real Manipulation coming in, the Blades are being used, and that is a lot of damage being dealt from side of Grapefruit. Finishing off the Ruby. That's four members of DMR down, with only Rui left to defend all of this, which is gonna be a huge task. Nuro just go in for that and lands the Iron Hook onto Rui. The Bloody Hood will be enough, and the game number 2 going to side of Grapefruit. What a sweep. That was really well played on their part. Okay, so if you go a bit on the analysis here, Grapefruit got a lead onto their first invades, and DMR really didn't answer to the optimum. We did see a bit of a split in their positioning. So whenever it got invaded, it just kept on getting worse, and Rui just kept on getting invaded, losing gold, losing utility, and just allowing Grapefruit to progress so far. And once Grapefruit got that lead, they didn't let go, as the aggression and the pressure just kept on being applied on all the lanes. He was just winning those trades in the XP lane, and the invades from him, you combine that with Jing, just allowed the rest of Grapefruit team to snowball so far. And if you look at the stats, the highest damage dealt from side of Grapefruit was Jing, even tanked also. So MVP from their side will go to will go to Key, and for the side of DMR, yeah, Ginger Cat's lovers had really good snipes and was enough to maybe slow down the pace a bit, but there won't be enough, as the game will go to side of Grapefruit. Yeah, but that'll be game number 2. And we'll be right back, guys. Maybe a couple of seconds here, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and don't get anywhere. Maybe grab some popcorn, maybe go to the bathroom, or get a glass of water or something.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Emerald Empire tournament. We are in the grand finals. We have Team Grapefruit and Team Dioram Redditus on the red side, Grapefruit on the blue side, and so far we've had two games already with two victories being taken by Grapefruit, and it was a bit unconventional for side Dioram Redditus, as Grapefruit just had the better draft and mechanics for those team fights, and that's leading the loss for those games. But we are on to the third game, and this could be very well the last match of the series if Grapefruit takes this victory, or will Dioram be able to pull a reverse sweep and get three more victories? Well, I have to find out as we move on to the draft phase here. All right, all right. Okay, Grapefruit has been picking a lot of pickoffs, and the Paquito has been on a roll. Really good drafting, really good jungle and positioning from side of Grapefruit. So DMR needs to pick up the pace. They need to ban out those crucial heroes, which Grapefruit has been utilizing. Maybe a Paquito, maybe a Ling, but the side of Grapefruit, Jing has been so flexible with his junglers. So I'm guessing prioritizing those bans will be a bit harder on side of DMR. But so they go for the standard two bans, which we've seen in those matches so far. The Joy, a Florian, possibly could see an Angela ban also. Maybe if we go through the succession. And all these three heroes, really good meta heroes, but never mind. Fredrin gets banned instead. All right. Okay, speaking of a bit of these bans which we've seen, and these are really good frontliners, engagers, even setting up a lot of plays. Florian, though, has been picked up by a lot of team comps. And looking at both team comps, I don't really see where Florian would fit in the side of Grapefruit. But I'm guessing DMR's setup requires a lot of clumping up, or like let's say setting up a lot of your teammates in the same spot. So this could allow the Florian to have a lot of potential. So I'm guessing that's sensible coming from both teams. Angela and Florian does get banned off. So, but the crucial heroes are still open for the side of Grapefruit. DMR needs to ban these certain heroes if they want to have an easier time laning against these opponents in the enemy team. But as a good player, even if certain heroes get banned, you do have other options. But if inside of DMR, you're not really being able to answer those options, which we've had so far. So you need to sort of minimalize the enemy team comp to a certain aspect, which you can predict or maybe see. But the Faramis gets banned from side Grapefruit, understandably so. And as Faramis is a huge threat to invade comps or pick off comps, as the Cult Altar just provides so much, and his abilities have a lot of damage, even the S1 allowing him to cross terrains. So could play more aggressively in that case, or be able to escape much more easily. But the last ban is coming on from the side of DMR. Seer with that last ban has to think really hard, What is Grapefruit gonna opt for this first picks? Are they gonna go for XP laner, a roamer? You have to ban out those options because there will be a second ban phase, and they do go for the Ling ban, which was understandable since Ling's positioning is so hard to deal with if their team comp isn't the optimum for countering that, especially since you want to apply pressure in other lanes, trying to funnel the marksman possibly, or even the XP lane. And we have, but the Kadita is still open as I locks in it, and Grapefruit has been able to use this Kadita to the maximum potential, being able to dish out a lot of damage. Face Soul might be here in the counter pick with the Alpha, but not really optimum. As you know, the side of Grapefruit, what you've seen so far, they really rely on pickoffs and that instant burst of damage. So maybe could opt for more tankier options or maybe counter picks to those certain lineups. But they do go for a standard X-Borg and a Kaja pick, an early Kaja pick to get a Divine Judgment early on. But for this, what happened in the first game, which we saw, they had the Kaja, but other than Kaja, there was a bit of lack of frontliner that's causing a bit of disarray and maybe having that difficulty in laning phase. So it'll be up to Grapefruit to sort of counterpick this. The Kaja is there to counter their dives, but how are you gonna? What are options are do you have? And indeed, I think he sort of instead of going for the XP lane, might be an XP lane Grok that is playable too. But Grok here is a huge pick. Will be able to dish out a lot of damage, and that knockup from the ultimate is enough for even negating a lot of effect from the enemy team, especially since the stun lasts for so long. So that's just gonna allow a snowball after snowball. You go in with the Kadita, possibly, use the Petrify and the Breath of the Ocean, and after that, follow up with the Grok's ultimate wild charge, and then it's just gonna deal a lot of damage and crowd control abilities. Even if you have a Kaja, you can only mark one certain target. And Jing is there with the Lancelot, which is proven so far that his Lancelot, at least jungle capabilities, has been on point, and you might not have trouble dealing with DMR's comp. But Seer locks in that Claude. Okay, Claude is really good marksman in the sense from the mid to late game phase. Could have, and since we've seen both teams not apply that much pressure in the goal lanes, at least till the level 4, that's gonna allow Seer to maybe play more passively, use the Blaze duets to clear the waves if there's like a lot of enemy teams looking for ganks. So this is gonna have open up more options for side of DMR. But we look into the ban phase here. Lastly, getting banned from DMR, and Hayabusa also. Okay, Leslie could be a counter to the Claude and the rest of the team of DMR. So it's a really good ban. But the Hayabusa really doesn't make sense. They already locked in the Lancelot, so it might be more of an auto ban or like something which they're comfortable with. You need to go for like certain marksman bans or even a frontliner. Maybe the Grok could be in XP. Yep, indeed. I think he is. We might see a Cho roam from side DMR, from side of Grapefruit. So like DMR, not really onto their point with the bans here in the last phase, especially since it's really important to remove Grapefruit's core picks, or even maybe remove some of their abilities to play in the certain roles. But we have Grapefruit here with the two mage bans coming in, the Kagura and the Valentina, which is understandable since Valentina ult could copy the the rough waves or the wild charge. Even the Terizla's penalty zone, which are really crucial ultimates, which deal a lot of damage. And I'm guessing Faso needs to answer this with a really good burst mage. And looking at the enemy comp, they have really tank units. They have really flexible heroes. So even the Brody is pretty hard to catch if you include them with a flicker. Kaja could be able to do that though, but looking from the side of Grapefruit, that's a really good balanced comp, which is going to pose a huge threat to side DMR. DMR also has the good comp, and to add that the suppression from the Kaja, which is going to be really good for picking off maybe the Grok, maybe the Lancelot, although not optimum, or maybe the Kadita. All of these options are allowed. As Terizla, ulting Terizla is a bit of an awkward position because he has that sustainability. So you're not going to exactly be able to melt him in a matter of few seconds. So we are waiting here on the draft phase. And don't forget, guys, this is the third round, and we've had 2 victories for Grapefruit. While DMR is standing at a 0% loss, will they be able to make a comeback? Will they be able to take this series to game 4? We'll only have to wait and see as we move on to Land of Dawn here. Both team marching down their lanes. Might see a bit of leashing done. And okay, I was thinking Nu was gonna be the XP laner, but it seems Nu is gonna be a roamer. So this is gonna allow Grapefruit to have that pressure, have a Kadita and a Grok, which is gonna be so hard to deal with. And he's been using the wall to slow down the waves, making Faso be playing a bit more forwards. And the rest of team DMR though, having that leashing done, Export getting the buff really pretty fast, and maybe forcing the side of the Grapefruit to maybe, I don't know, play bits more slowly. No is here for poking a bit. In top lane though, we see an engagement happening as Sinrat and Kiri poking down each other, going to really low HP. First blood though being taken by I, which is a really crucial kill.
especially since you already got this advantage with 2 victories. This is gonna further damage DMR's like confidence. And the retribution from Jing has been on point. He lands that, gets that Lito, further increasing his XP. Would could go for an engage here in bot lane. Turtle is up in 35 seconds. Here, export being spotted out. Rui might be gets the level 4. Okay, last Saturday might be popped. Never mind. Fragile armor gets taken down. Jing going in with the Thorn Rolls, doing a lot of damage, and that's another kill for side of Grapefruit. Jing with that kill, really huge. Wei will be able to catch off Seer though. He's not being able to escape. A lot of damage is being dealt, but he will be able to escape with the S2. And okay, not enough progression, as if he had the last Thornpipe memories, would be able to finish off, but doesn't able to do so, but will be able to deny a bit of that lane by getting it fast. And Grapefruit already having that lead, and looking at the turtle, they're just might, if they take this or maybe bait it out a bit, we'll just be able to progress even further. But we see the Nuo is going for the early level 4 in the top lane. I guess another kill, but there will be a surprise engage and will be taken down by Faso. Although Terizla here is landing the penalty zone onto two people, but the flicker will be used by Faso to back off. The rest of team Grapefruit is here for the backup. No, doesn't commit the wall charge though. Will be able to force to go back, and Jing has just been on point with his retributions. Never missed an objective even once, just landing those retries, not allowing Rui to get them. And as if this progresses on, it's just going to be harder for Grapefruit to to have any confidence in taking those objectives, and might just force them to play team fights. I is trying to force and go in a bit though, maybe bait a bit, but the damage isn't there from inside DMR, so Carter doesn't use Divine Judgment for it. I is getting poked down a bit, but the S2 doesn't land, and from side of Grapefruit, they've just been applying so much pressure as we've seen whole game. Even the Anu here using the charge here to escape from the export. That's forcing Rui to be in a Walker's position. Thorn Rose being used and will be taken down by Kadita. Rough Waves coming in just to escape. Faso using a bit of damage from poke, but won't be enough. And the rest of team Grapefruit just backs off really easily. Keys even here for an engage and lands the penalty zone onto I. That's a really good Breath of Evolution, and that will be enough to take that. Sinrad is a bit late on that engage though, and will be forced to back a bit. And you're lacking a bit of communication from the side of DMR. The Divine Judgment being used on Wei though, but won't be enough to take him down, as the Thornbound Memories is used to take down Sinrad. Take down, sorry. Generic leverage. Seer is caught in a tough spot. I trying to go in, but doesn't land it, and will be forced to back. Faso with the backup doesn't land S1 there, and is being forced to do a lot of damage. Wall charge coming in, really good damage. Thorn Rose will be enough to take it in. Rough Waves coming in for a bit of an escape. Seer going down really low HP. I is in a really tough spot. Will he get the kill? Yes, he does. Seer gets the kill and managed to escape, but the S1 from the Grok is enough to take him down. No, will be escaping with the trade, and perfectly made trade from the side of Grapefruit. Grapefruit has been dominating too much. I feel like even in early game phases, and it's just allowed them to snowball a lot in these team fights. DMR doesn't seem to be finding a counter to this. Like, if you want to take this game to game 4, you'll have to sort of figure out how to go into the lineup and maybe figure out their game style. Rui here is doing a bit of poke though. Won't be able to do anything as the first is so tanky, and the Firaga armor is being melted. Will sustain a bit. Last Sanity being used early on. Amazing wall charge on 3 people. Then that will be enough for a killing spree for of Jing, and that's another kill for I. Really wonderful combo. The ultimate from the Terizla and the wall charge just being enough to damage and stun the enemies for a really long time. And that's just Grapefruit's just been on point with their executions. The communication and the timing is just so good, and they've even gotten multiple objectives at the same time. Turtle and the mid lane being taken down, and Key is here on the top lane getting that also. And DMR, not having any space to breathe, not having any place to go for it, as the rough waves will be used to melt down Junior Cat's lever to really low HP. Divine Judgment not being committed, and Junior Cat's lever will use a flicker to escape. Jing diving on the backline, not doing enough damage though, and will go down to half HP. Rest of Team Grapefruit still here for a fight. Will get spotted by Feiso, and the penalty zone being committed, but not really landing. Key being forced back here. We have concealed play coming in here. Jing diving in the back line. Really good puncture and the ultimate being popped off. But Divine Judgment not being used. Ginger Cat Lovers not focusing on that. It's not really using. I think maybe he used it earlier. I'm not certain. Might have caught missed it. But I didn't see it. But I lands a really good petrifier, and the rough waves is enough to take him down. Really good wife charge from the side of Jing. From the side of Nuo, and Jing will be enough to finish it down. Keep getting another kill, but a shutdown by Sinrad. This is really crucial for making a comeback, but you are the only person left in the front lines, and he gets taken down instead. That's a 4-for-1 trade. The jungler being taken down, but look at the objectives that's being taken by side of Grapefruit. And they've just been sweeping and getting these kills, getting this team fight. And you had to go for the Kadita ban because I has just been able to pop off and do so well with it. And we have the Divine Judgment that is not being used. Okay, I thought he would go for it, maybe punish I a bit, but Grapefruit has been able to get away with almost anything as they go to the mid lane. Wei is being caught here and will be taken down. And we have Key trying to follow up a bit, no with the poke, but wall charge being used to escape safely. Still being chased though. Rest of DMR not allowing Grapefruit to go back off. Zero doing a bit of damage. Poke won't be enough though as the rough waves comes in and cleans up the Kaja. Ginger Cat's lovers not having a great day. Getting picked up by this Kadita so many times. And the rest of DMR, not really coming to anything as the wall, that's the deadly the ultimate being used by Terizla to finish to catch two people, and the damage will be there as Key finishes it off. And look at that sustain, it's so much, it's allowing him to leave, and the rest of Team DMR trying to back off from this. Jing doing a bit of poke, and the wall will be used also, but DMR, the objective isn't there. They aren't focusing on any particular playstyle, not really catching off anyone off guard or using an ultimate, just being forced to play defensively. And we have them getting zoned out a lot. Farms being taken also, like we saw in the previous game, and turrets also down. There's no pressure on any of the side lanes. I is trying to go in, but he will get caught by Divine Judgment. Finally, Ginger Cat Levers uses it to create that aggression while Blazing Duet is being committed though, but Wei will be able to take him down, and conceal play being used, and wall charge and flicker play, deadly penalty being used also. Two of members of Grapefruit being taken of DMR being taken down. My bad on that, guys. Yeah. But Jing here is just playing a bit of BM here. They've been dominating so far. And just DMR is not being able to pick up the pace, not being able to get any W's or victories from those team fights. You need to mark off certain targets, and you did. You marked off the Kadita, but by going off of that, there wasn't really a frontliner from those team fights. Sunrat didn't really go on in time, sinking the Blazing Duets or anything. They need to get the communication right if they want to make a potential comeback. Because if this continues to go on, Grapefruit is just gonna sweep them once again, and this just might be game. But we have the ultimate, the S1 and S2 being used by Louis. A lot of damage being done, but Esmeralda is taken down. Puncture, really good puncture coming in, a really good petrify. The rough waves being enough to take down them with really low HP. Brody getting a triple kill, Maniac, and Savage for the side of Grapefruit. They've just been sweeping this and not allowing the side of DMR to do anything, and this just might be GG. But they are trolling a bit though and getting stuck at a really awkward spot. And Sinrad trying to defend this, goes in for the early stars, but won't be enough. The wave won't be caught in time as he gets melted down, and the torn apart members being enough to take him down. Luo Yi has given up, I think, from the side of DMR. They have ulted into a really awkward spot, and I think they've just lost all hope. As what can you really do at this point if you're in the spot of DMR? You don't really have that sustain. You don't really have the damage.
and the side of the side of Grapefruit's just been melting you down, especially since you can't really target anyone in the face. Ginger Cat Lovers did try the Alta Cadita, but it was a bit too late and was in the immunity phase. Was able to escape. Rest of Sinrat trying to poke a bit, but uh, he will get shredded, I think, if they focus, if Grapefruit focuses on this. And Grapefruit here playing the slow game, waiting for the Lord to come, and maybe push in and get at some inhibitor turrets. Sinrat stalling a bit, maybe pulling a bit of aggression onto him. We'll be able to cut this mid wave though, and maybe stall a bit for his team. But look at the team fights. The rest of the team, Ginger Cats is being caught here. Grapefruit on a roll, just dealing so much damage. Rui will be knocked out by the wall charge, and that's an unstoppable for Key. And the side of Grapefruit, you have all four members up, and while for side of DMR, only three of them are alive. At this point, your crucial damage dealer for the magic phase is also gone. So you're trying to defend this phase. You might be able to do so as we have Divine Adjustment and Flicker being used onto the Thursla, but that's not really what you want to see. Thursla is a really tanky unit. He has the immortality also, so it's a bit of a misplay coming from side of Junior Cat Lovers. And DMR might just be able to defend this for the first part at least. And we have the lanes being pushed there by minions, almost taken down, and DMR is just not in a great spot. We have the ultimate being used by Luo Yi though. Maybe cause a bit of poke. Sinrad here alone just to clear the waves and delay, put a bit of aggression of Grapefruit onto him. But the sync is not there. He will be caught off guard as their only frontliner, Sinrad, is gone. Cat Lovers is there, but the penalty zone flicker will be used by Key. Not too optimum though, and the Troll will be able to flicker out. Last Insanity doing a lot of damage. Not enough though, and will force the side of Grapefruit to back off a bit. They will wait for the aggression as the Phantom Execute comes in. We have the okay, Thornpot Memories was not enough to finish that, and Sinrad not giving up, still cutting those waves. Giving Grapefruit a bit more pressure and maybe allowing them to be more passively. But we have a huge and last study being used by Export, really good blazing duets, mounting down the enemy teams. Key is really low HP. Facesoak does get caught up by the wall charge though, and there's no members of his team nearby. Really good dash, and that will allow him to escape. And side of DMR, they're like, guys, we're not giving up yet. That Sinrat is trying so hard and clearing those waves, denying Grapefruit to end this game, and he's applying pressure almost everywhere, even in the bot lane, even in the mid lane, clearing those waves. But look at those minions; they just might be able to take it down, but never gets cleared by DMR. And from side of Grapefruit, you know exactly what you have to do. Maybe take the Lord an objective, or Scout of give a bit more vision because your enemies are starting to get serious now. And DMR is really good on point with the rotations here. He is scouting a bit. Deadly penalty zone being used onto Sinrad only though, and this will be an ultimate use. Purify being used also early on. Last Saturday going into the back line, dealing a bit of damage. Will be forced back though. Nui here in tough spot. Jing being melted down by his clothes. Zero it's not enough damage though, as the rest of Team DMR backs off, and that's a kill from Brody for the side of Grapefruit, and that is their frontliner, Sinrad. So how are you going to be able to contest this Lord? There's almost no options. But they go for it as the Luo Yi ultimate here. A bit early as the Lord is still really high HP. Jing being able to take down the Luo Yi with Thorn Rose. And you have Rui here in a really tough spot. Use the last insanity to sort of back a bit and maybe try to escape. Retribution being used to escape also, but won't be enough. Okay, never mind. He lands, but the wild shots and flicker being used by Nuo, and we'll be able to catch him off guard. Jing here going to the backline, trying to damage Seer, taking down the really low HP. Wind of Nature being used though to immune this, and Rui is trying to escape, but won't be enough. Immortality also being used, and that will be another kill for side of Grapefruit. They can't defend this, and Sinrad is here still to cut off those waves, but there are the side lanes, and maybe if Grapefruit applies a bit of pressure there, or maybe answers Sinrad, he might just be able to end this game quickly. As Jing here tries to answer it, there's a bit of poke, but it realizes they already achieved their objective. As the Lord is marching down mid lane, Sinrad just might not be able to make it in time. being their only frontliner. Junior Cats Lover need to catch someone. Key, a bit of misplay with the penalty zone. Will be forced to take a lot of low HP being used. And that's another kill for FaZe. So rest of the team, Grapefruit though, trying to go in, trying to finish this game, not being able to do so. Wei will be also taken down. That's a double kill. That's 3 kills, but I guess a kill instead, and that will be a trade-off. Double kill from the side of Jing, trying his best to finish this. Thorn Rose will be used though, but it won't be enough. And the minions are all there as only Ruiz left to defend, and that's gonna be game, guys. Grapefruit taking the victory of this third match and taking the victory for this tournament. And I think that will be game number 3 and this best of 5 series as the victory going to Grapefruit. And this has been the Emerald Empire's tournament grand finals. Really well played by all the teams which we've had in this tournament. And a Grapefruit, just spectacular with their gameplay and communication. Drafting skills also really well. Jing on the retribution, so good. Newell on his micro and macro skills, with even the Paquito, the Grok. It requires a lot of skills, to know a lot of heroes and the master all their techniques. Wei, really good damage. Key, also really good setups. And I here, really good mage player. And that will be your winners, the victors for this Emerald Empire tournament. Though DMR, though, don't be sad, guys. You could learn off from this and sort of get better, and maybe come back for the next tournament. Maybe get your revenge onto Grapefruit. But that'll be all. And this has been Emerald Empire's tournament, guys. So I'm Linwell, your caster, and the victory for this tournament going to Grapefruit. And that'll be all. What a tourney. We've had so many good games. We've had so many different players, different compies, different setups, some even relying on a lot of crowd control, and some pickoffs, some even specific funneling. But yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. And good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying watching the stream. Thanks for supporting the players. And yeah, GG. See ya.